he's in. He's got 21 laps remaining.
And the number 21 seconds to Payne at that point.
Copy that, mate. Copy that. Chequered are allowing us to drive through. Chequered allowing us to drive through. So keep coming down, mate. Keep coming down. Go till you hit the board. Swing across now, drive through, drive through.
That's very courteous of Tickford.
We're going to have to do this, Neil, to show
Make sure you got the gear. Standing by.
Forward,
Left
drum on
rear.
the left rear.
Go, go, go.
That was an efficient stop. But it was right on the verge of being held up by what happened with the left rear there, and he's emerged without too much trauma there. Side by side with another car that's going away.
And the issue for Anton Lepuswala is to do with the engine. Chad mentioned earlier about that contact right at the start. The exhaust had been closed open and now they've got an engine problem. The reason he couldn't get into the garage is because all the fuel and tyres were set up in the spare garage.
Okay, thanks for that. It was weird watching that car sort of being pushed in the middle of the race in the pit lane and then just sitting there. All people coming in now, they're reacting for Wood and for Hill.
It did look like the Percat right rear tyre might have had a little issue there in terms of having it. But good. And now everyone finishing off their second stops. Golding is the last one that they've done. Davison was on the front runners. So Matt Payne, when Golding comes in for his stop, Matt Payne will be leading in front of Will Brown.
So it's an update on Ryan Wood's pit stop a little longer than they would have liked. There was a drama with the right rear getting the gun on to get that tyre changed. It took longer than the fuel to get the tyres done. Percat was okay. They were a little bit slow with the tyres, but that was covered by the fuel.
So there's a 16-second margin between Payne and Feeney now with 18 laps remaining. And just looking at that now, it's cleaning up here as I look at it. It's 14.9 seconds. We'll see how this plays out.
Now, just doing the numbers. On the last part of the stint, Feeney was a second and a lap faster Brown for most of that last stint. So basically what you're looking at now is a bit more of the same dosage with 18 laps remaining, 14 and a half seconds to gain. You're looking for a bit over a second a lap.
Speaking, hasn't he? Like it's been in another league speed-wise, Feeney in this race, and that's not an easy thing to achieve from a setup standpoint, and just to be able to drive that consistently as well. Fastest lap I mentioned earlier, and he's the fastest man in both sectors 1 and 3, with Campbell being the fast man in the second.
Now, I think Golding and Stanaway both get Wood and have. So looking on our board here, both of the Premier cars are now in front of Wood. Remember, Wood put that move on Golding when he had the drama with James Courtney. So both of those guys have capitalised. I don't know whether that was just a simple pit stop gain or some little issue with their stop on Ryan Wood's car.
Yeah, we're just looking at that in the hub, boys. I got a feeling that might have been the classic overcut, as we say it, where you stay out a little bit longer on hot tyres. They come out on cold. Temperature's very cool out at the moment, so it takes a little while to get those tyres up to temp. You made a little gain there. Nice work.
Yeah, looking at Ryan Wood on screen here at the moment. Sitting 9th in the queue. Fascinating scenario with Matt Payne taking those 2 compulsory stops very early in the game. We'll focus very carefully on his lap speed now and see whether or not he can hang on. It's going to be a significant challenge. He's got 3.7 seconds over Will Brown, who's got a 4.2 second margin.
So all current four leaders, Payne, Brown, Reynolds, Randall, they all did the early stop version. So Feeney in 5th is the first what we would call proper distinct lengths.
We were asking you at home, folks, to do a lot of mental gymnastics with this, but out of the way. They're asking a lot of their tyres through the back end. The reason we're talking a lot about Broc Feeney, he's all rubbing up for a bit of action at the back end of this one, and he has been flying through this race. So that's why we're focused on it, and it's now 11.5 seconds the margin between the leader and Broc Feeney.
And in the fastest lap of the race, 2 laps in a row, and that's a new lap record that he's just done there too, with a 51.53. So the first of the Feeney victims is going to be Randall, the next one's Reynolds, the next one's Brown, and the next one's Payne.
And these theories are all fine, dandy, wonderful, until some other random element arrives on the scene. An incident triggers a safety car, opens up a variety of other different possibilities here as well. The other thing, and the reason why some of these teams have taken this punt, is that by the time we get to Sunday, the track's mature. It's fully developed, there's more rubber on it, they've got a better handle on their cars. The drivers tend to be gentler on the tyre later in the weekend than earlier in the weekend. It's a normal trend. So you're more in tune with being able to achieve that. If you're going to do it, this is the day and the moment to be able to do it.
Yep, totally. And the other part of that too, Neil, is what I loved about all of those teams that chose to do something different is that they think on their feet. So Matt Payne, the crew down there with Will Brown, Richard Holway there with David Reynolds, the guys down at Tickford, they basically capitalise on an opportunity to do 2 stops early and conserve the tyre. So this is now the gap. So this is the waiter. There's our leader. There's Will Brown, who's 3.9 seconds behind Payne. LeBrock out of 6. These are the next 2 cars. That's 3rd and 4th with Reynolds and Randall. And there is Feeney on a charge.
All gripped up. David Reynolds just said on the radio a minute ago, who am I racing? Because because you've been just trundling around in a slightly stilted state, you're not in your normal attack mode. He's running conservatively with these tyres. He's under assault in every direction. He's got Thomas Randall on the inside, and he's got a tail gunner in Broc Feeney. He's going to make it 3 wide here if this goes on. He's literally on the tow bar of the Castrol entry, and now he's going to try and feed it up the inside here when they get to turn 6. He's having a look, releases the brake pedal. He's halfway down the car, now done. So that's a nice move. Contact between Reynolds and Randall. And Randall ends up with a rotate. Chris Ducky's his engineer. Keep going, grab a gear. And can he fire it?
You okay, mate? You okay?
It's got it started.
And it took a while, and gee, he lost a lot of time there. Wouldn't start. So frustration. So now he's dropped to the bottom of the top 10 in all of that.
12 to go.
12 to go is the word in the background. Richard Holway, a highly experienced engineer in the background, talking to Reynolds. So Payne, Brown, Feeney up to 3rd out of all that, followed by Reynolds, Golding, Stanaway, Wood, Davison, Hindgarten and Percat. And now the 2 Tickford teammates are close together, and Thomas Randall's going to be an angry young man at the moment. Hill right under the rear bumper of Waters on the run up the back straight. 11 to go.
So Feeney has continued, not only did he do a lap record time before, he's done 3 or 4 in a row, and the number now is a 51.49 nil. So that's the fastest lap that we've seen for the weekend as the lap record. This is the replay. So down the inside goes Feeney at turn 6 on Thomas Randall. In behind, David Reynolds follows him through. Thomas didn't know where he was, and the contact was made, turned him around. Now watch this for the bump draft. We've seen it in NASCAR. But this is now Feeney bumping Randall through the fast kink in the back straight, and then plunges straight down the inside with fresh tyres, easily done.
Fastest car on the last lap, and here's the bird's eye view of what it's like to spin between turns 6 and 7, and then the frustration for that man.
Oh, you're fucking me,
Chris Stuckey, sorry about that, folks. Chris obviously pretty passionate about what's going on there. I apologise for the language there, but you can also understand how cranky he would be at that point. So what I was about to say was what was the first...
Where they're going to catch you if you can hold this pace. You can hold this, you know where they're going to get you.
He was the quickest car, he was number 1, the first boy in the totem in terms of pace on the last lap. And Matt Payne was the 14th fastest car. And and he's trying to perform a miracle out there at the moment with 10 to go. The margin is 6.667 seconds, and Feeney is flying. He's 2.5 seconds behind his teammate Will Brown, who's got the same scenario as the race leader. He's trying to perform an endurance miracle on the Dunlop Super Soft tyre. And this guy that's owned the weekend so far with 2 victories is trying to make it a triple treat for himself in Tasmania. And he's come into this race today with the points lead in the championship by 13 points, and he is in max attack mode. He's got everything going for him. He's got a well-trimmed car, he's got fresh tyres, and he's got 9 laps up his sleeve. What he doesn't have at the moment is track position.
Yeah. Just 6 seconds. 9 laps remaining. And as I said, I love it when the teams do something different. And so many of those teams grab the opportunity to do the early stop and basically turn the race around in strategy land. And even if it doesn't pay off, it's still going to be a massive yield for Matt Payne and Will Brown, especially for Matt Payne.
5.3 seconds is the gap between Payne and Feeney. You know that Brown's not going to hold up Feeney, so that's not really going to be a factor in this discussion this afternoon. 8 remaining, and the stewards have taken note of what happened between David Reynolds and Thomas Randall on the exit of turn 6, so not potentially something to say about that. There's a case to answer.
8 to go.
That's the scenario, 8 to go. Matt Payne's actually doing a pretty fine job out there when I look at sector split. So in sector 1, it was a 17.8 for Broc and an 18.1 for Matty. In sector 2, it was an 18 flat for Broc and an 18.3 for Matt. When you consider the age of the tyres, Matt Payne's doing a fair job out there at the moment. So he's done a 16.2 in the last sector, and it plays a 15.9 for Broc. So the cum of those is a 52.7 for Matty Payne and a 51.8 for Broc Feeney. So big gain, but still pretty remarkable when you consider the age of the rubber on car number 19. There's the easy beat that I talked about. So they've alerted Will to the fact that Broc's got fresh rubber and he has got the eyes on it at the moment.
7 to go. 52.7 last time.
Very good speed. Supreme speed over the rest of the field at the moment.
Good communication, but remember, you said it earlier, you won't be able to keep on this trail. You'll start to lose a bit of ground in terms of Feeney's pace, but it will still be relative to the Matt Payne tyre quality. So on that one there, it's 6/10, so a lot different from the lap before.
Meantime, stewards have determined that the incident involving David Reynolds and Thomas Randall doesn't require any further discussion, so they've cleared that one as Cam Hill and Cam Waters are at it here together with Macaulay Jones and Jackson Evans. This is a bundle of supercars all tied together. 11, 12, 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, all line astern, all on the tow rope there through turn 2, and all battling to get into a top 10 position. 6 laps remaining, 3.5 seconds is the margin.
Matt Payne's last 12 laps have been within a tenth of a second of each other. He has done a remarkable job.
I think regardless of how this plays out, if he's going to get a result, you've got to actually dip your hat to that young guy. It's still early days in his career. He's driving incredibly mature racing, very, very difficult circumstances. It's hard to explain. So he's come into this race weekend with only 63 supercar races under his belt. Added another couple yesterday, 65. 22 years of age. And look at that. That's the game that Feeney's been making.
Don't get as much later, see, it's only half a second now. It's started out as a second.
It's diminishing returns, and that's the tantalising part about his closing, as the respective crews are watching what's going on there.
And we spoke about it in New Zealand at Topor, that he was the tyre whisperer over there. What he's shown us today is exactly the same. Very, very mature drive, given the experience that you just rolled out.
4 laps remaining, 2.2 seconds.
Well, to go, mate. 2.2.9 quicker than last lap.
So nearly a second quicker. Big brake bias swing there on the run up to turn 4. Marty Short on the radio in the background. And he's got a nice rhythm at the moment, and the car is so well behaved, so it didn't wriggle under brakes. He turned it in once and no wheel spin out the other side. He's got all the mental capacity at the moment to make brake bias changes. He's in his stroll. Jack Bell is the engineer that we saw on the left-hand side of screen on the radio to Matty Payne, 1.7 seconds.
Matt Payne will be looking in the mirror as this thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger in the mirror, and he'll be trying everything to just maximise every single bit of rolling speed to try to get the car through the corner, keep the speed up, but don't make it wheel spin. It's only 1.3 seconds now. There's the gap. Lights on for Feeney, as you can see. And Matt Payne has done a remarkable job in this battle.
I really can't emphasise enough how clever this has been as a driving execute and a strategy play by the team to do something bold a long time ago and try and forecast what life would look like coming up to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's hard to project in this business what things will look like down the road because it changes by the second. And so this is a great performance, and you know, the potential, it's not done yet, but they're only going to miss out by several kilometres. Yeah, that's how close it is. We've got 2 to go on a 2.4k track. 4.8 kilometres total journey, and it's probably going to get down to the last lap, or pretty darn close to it here. Feeney, we ride with him up into the hairpin now. He's right within striking distance, looking at the rear bumper of our race leader, Matt Payne, on a very different strategy play. And the Shell V-Power race car hopping out of the way while the 2 leaders duke it out on the run up towards turn number 6. 6th gear, flat out through this fast right-hand of turn 5, 265 kilometres an hour. He's got grip.
Be patient.
And he's got the eyes on. He's fixated on the back of the Penrite Racing Mustang at the moment. Right with him, right with him, right with him, and that's an awkward place to try and show the nose down there at turn 1, so he sits in behind him. So we've now got 1 lap to go. So if you're Matt Payne, it's gloves off. He doesn't have to be polite. He needs to run him all over the universe, all over the postcode to see whether or not he can keep him behind. He'll drive down the inside. Broc is going to do everything he can aggressively to try and find a way. He goes high, high, high on the bowl. 2 different lines. There's only half a lap to go, and Payne's still got this at the moment. This is going to be a nail-biter. If Payne wins this thing, he will bring the house down. Feeney is on the charge down the back straight. What a nail-biting supercar race. It's a lucky 13 for Payne at the moment. Into the final corner. He might get this. Feeney tries to duck underneath him, and this will be the win of all miracle time in supercars if Payne can get it, and he gets it. That is a spectacular drive, Matt Payne. You are the man.
Awesome work. P1 fun.
How good was that? He's made those tyres live for about 47 or 48 laps.
That is epic.